At the crossroads of two continents, where Europe meets Asia and where ancient empires once breathed life into stone, lies a land that has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations for over 10,000 years. This is Turkey, the land of Anatolia, where kings, warriors, and philosophers once walked, a land that has carried the dreams of empires and the weight of history. From the temples of Göbekli Tepe, older than the pyramids themselves, to the glory of Byzantium, the might of the Ottomans, and the rebirth of the modern Turkish Republic, Turkey has always been more than a country. It has been a bridge between worlds. Join us as we journey across the centuries, through conquest and culture, through faith and reform, to discover how Turkey became one of the most influential lands in human history. Before we begin this journey, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because today we travel across time itself, through the heart of the land that shaped civilizations. 1. The birth of civilization, ancient Anatolia. Long before the word Turkey existed, there was Anatolia, one of the oldest continuously inhabited regions on Earth. Here, more than 12,000 years ago, people built Göbekli Tepe, a temple so ancient that it predates Stonehenge by 6 millennia. Carved from limestone, its pillars tell the earliest story of human spirituality, proof that faith and civilization began here in the heart of Anatolia. Millennia later, new powers rose. The Hittite Empire, centered in Hadassa, became one of the great Bronze Age powers, rivaling Egypt and Babylon. They forged iron, wrote treaties, and built monumental walls that still stand today. After the Hittites faded, Anatolia became a mosaic of cultures: Phrygians, Lydians, Urartians, and Ionians, each leaving behind temples, cities, and legends. The Lydians gave the world something we use every day: money. They minted the first coins around 600 BCE, beginning the story of trade and economy. Then came the Greeks, who founded Ephesus, Miletus, and Smyrna along the Aegean coast. These cities became centers of philosophy, art, and science. It was here that Thales studied the stars and Heraclitus questioned the nature of existence. But Anatolia's fate was never isolation. It was always connection. Persian armies swept in under Cyrus the Great, bringing the empire's vast network of roads and culture. Then came Alexander the Great, whose conquests made Anatolia a stage for the fusion of East and West, a theme that would define it forever. And when Alexander's empire crumbled, one city began to rise above them all: Byzantium. 2. The Byzantine era, the Eastern Empire. In 330 CE, the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great stood on the shores of the Bosphorus and proclaimed, "This shall be the new Rome." He named it Constantinople, and from that moment, the world's focus shifted eastward. The Byzantine Empire, born from the ashes of Rome, would rule for over 1,000 years. Its walls repelled countless invasions. Its scholars preserved ancient Greek philosophy. Its cathedrals, just like Hagia Sophia, stood as marvels of architecture and faith. The Byzantines were not merely Roman in name, they became something new. A civilization that blended Roman law, Greek culture, and Christian faith into one enduring empire. But as centuries passed, the world around Constantinople began to change. To the east and south, a new force was rising, a faith and a people whose destiny would reshape Anatolia forever. 3. The rise of the Ottoman Empire. In the late 13th century, a small Turkish principality emerged in northwestern Anatolia, near the Byzantine frontier. Its leader was Osman Gazi, and from his name would come the word Ottoman. At first, they were one of many tribes, but their discipline, unity, and vision turned them into something far greater. Under Orhan, Murad, and Bayezid, the Ottomans expanded across Anatolia and into Europe. But it was under Mehmed II, known as Mehmed the Conqueror, that the world changed forever. In 1453, after weeks of cannon fire and relentless siege, the young sultan stood before the gates of Constantinople. When the final wall fell, the 1,000-year Byzantine Empire ended, and the Ottoman Empire began. Constantinople became Istanbul, the new capital of an empire that would rule for over 6 centuries. From the Balkans to Arabia, from North Africa to Persia, the Ottomans created a realm that stretched across 3 continents. They built mosques, markets, and schools, and under Suleiman the Magnificent, the empire reached its golden age. Suleiman was not just a conqueror, he was a lawmaker, a poet, and a patron of art. Under his reign, Istanbul became the heart of the Islamic world and a center of global culture. The Ottomans mastered diplomacy as much as war. They balanced East and West, faith and reason, tradition and progress. But no empire lasts forever. By the 19th century, the Ottomans faced revolts, wars, and the pressure of rising European powers. Their empire, once mighty, began to fragment. And after the First World War, it all came crashing down. 4. The birth of modern Turkey. When the Ottoman Empire fell in 1922, the world saw it as the end of an era. But for the Turkish people, it was the beginning of a new one. Out of the ruins of empire rose a soldier, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, a leader, visionary, and reformer who would reshape the identity of his nation. Ataturk rejected the Sultanate, abolished the Caliphate, and founded the Republic of Turkey in 1923. He declared that sovereignty belonged not to kings but to the people. He modernized education, replaced the Arabic script with Latin, gave women the right to vote, and introduced secular governance, all within a single generation. Ankara became the new capital, symbolizing a fresh start, away from imperial memory and toward a modern, unified identity. For Ataturk, Turkey's mission was clear, to be both modern and rooted in its heritage, European in progress yet proud of its Eastern soul. It was not an easy journey. Decades of political struggle, military coups, and social change followed. But the spirit of reform and resilience never died. From the 1950s industrial boom to the 21st century transformation of Istanbul into a global hub, Turkey has continually reinvented itself, walking a delicate line between tradition and innovation. 5. Turkey today. Between continents, between worlds. Today, Turkey stands once again at the crossroads of history, a nation of over 85 million people, where ancient mosques rise beside skyscrapers and caravans have been replaced by high-speed trains. It remains a bridge between civilizations, between Europe and Asia, Islam and the West, past and future. Its culture, language, and cuisine reflect the layers of every civilization that passed through its soil. And its people, resilient, proud, and passionate, continue to shape the destiny of this ancient land. The story of Turkey is the story of survival, reinvention, and identity. A story that began before the pyramids and continues, even now, to unfold. If this journey through the heart of history moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because stories like this remind us how the past still beats within us all. From the stones of Göbekli Tepe to the skyline of Istanbul. From the Hittites to the Ottomans, from empire to republic, Turkey stands as living proof that no land carries history quite like Anatolia. Empires rise and fall, but the land endures. And in Turkey, Esnard, history is not just remembered, it is alive.